Good evening, this is Miriam Rosales, and this video is intended for teachers and any persons working with students or with children. And today I'm going to be talking about emotional engagement. What does emotional engagement look like, and how can I support my students? Emotional engagement in learning is the experience of positive emotions during a learning activity. Here's a quote from Pekron and Linenberg Garcia. Emotions are present everywhere, even in academic settings, and therefore they impact students' engagement and how they perform in the classroom. We know that when children are not regulating their emotions or don't have the skills for emotional intelligence, they struggle in the classroom and with their social lives. Some examples of emotional engagement include feeling of sense of belonging, having positive feelings towards a topic or even school, feeling safe, enjoying the learning experience, working enthusiastically, communicating with peers and faculty. So a few years ago, I came across this book by Bilms, and she describes that children need 5 basic life skills to succeed in school and in life. And the 6 life skills is attachment, belonging, self-regulation, collaboration, contribution, and adaptability. And in this research, she describes what each of the 6 lives are, and she gives examples of what to do and what to look for in students that might need these skills. And the way that she determines if a student needs a specific skill, she works on that specific skill with that child and helps them with their emotions and their behavior. So attachment is a child's warm and genuine relationship with adults, both within the family and without. Children get to know, so things that teachers can do is get to know the children well. They can be affectionate. They can recognize the insights of a child, anticipate when they're going to be reacting to certain things or how they feel emotionally. They priority is to keep the children safe. They mean what you say and say what you mean. Play games with children. So if you walk into a classroom, you see that the teachers actually engage in interacting with the students. They greet the children and families individually, so getting to know the families. Give children opportunities to talk with, play with, and emulate adults. An attached child will respond with a smile when the teacher says good morning and will usually be compliant with the teacher's request. When a child is not attached, they might flinch, they might look away when the teacher or an adult touches them on the shoulder. They seem to have no use for the grown-up people in their lives. Belonging is the feeling of security and support where there is a sense of acceptance, inclusion, and identity for a member of a certain group. So support the family's belonging. They make sure that they feel that they're belonged in your classroom. Learn about the family's culture, just like we read in the book in this last class. Learn about family structure. Greet children and family members. Display photos of children and families in your classroom. Parent visitors, allow them. Is your classroom an open door policy? Allow All About Me unit. That's a unit that we work on at the beginning of the school year, and it helps me learn a little bit about the families and their cultures. Making classroom books. The children love doing this because it has a sense of they belong there, and this is our classroom, and this is what our classroom looks like. And we do also do a morning message. It anticipates what the day is going to look like, and the kids already know their expectations. A child feels he belongs in the classroom when he forms relationships with one or more children. So it's not just the relationships with the teachers, but it's among each other. When he is happy to arrive at school in the mornings and when he moves comfortably through the classroom environment. A child who does not feel a sense of belonging will often say things like, nobody likes me. I don't have any friends, or nobody lets me play, things like that. Self-regulation, the ability for a child to understand and safely manage strong emotions when they occur. Help children understand emotions. So not just knowing that they're feeling upset or angry, but having them name those emotions, teaching them those vocabularies, it's important. Respond to children's emotion. How are you going to teach them what to do during, if they're sad, what can they do when they're sad, and giving them those skills to regulate them. So naming and validating their feelings, emotional vocabulary, like I mentioned, help children regulate their emotions, visuals and transitions, self-calming activities. So I have a student here. We do have a calming corner. So if a child knows he's overwhelmed, he's sad, or he just needs to calm down a little bit, they know they can always go to that corner. We have stuffed animals there. We have books. We have activities for them. They can do games and songs about emotions and feelings, and then promote empathy. So not just them learning their own emotions and naming them, but also what to do if a child, or how to recognize when someone else might be having certain emotions. Children are able to manage emotions, but they need to first notice that they even have these emotions. They can identify the emotions, know they are feeling them, and they need to learn how to put a moment between their feelings and their reactions. So, sometimes I hear a lot of teachers saying, don't be crying, or don't be sad, or don't be scared. But those are part of our emotions. It's okay to cry, but if you're angry, it's not okay to throw things, or it's not okay to do this. What else can we do instead? They also have to understand that other people have feelings too, and those feelings do matter. A child that throws things, screams, pulls hair, hits, is a child that is feeling the emotions but cannot describe the feeling and is not able to regulate the emotions. Instead, they start acting out on it. This is what we see a lot. And one of the things that I also learned in doing the research is that teachers see emotional engagement as being it's the most noticeable one in the classroom. The other part of the skill is collaboration. Collaboration is a dynamic process in which individuals come together and share their knowledge, experiences, and a common purpose. Children work together through sustained shared thinking and action. So in a classroom of younger children, we see kids like building a puzzle together, having some solutions to make the balls go through the tubes, stuff like that. In a classroom for older children, this is when you do like a collaboration of a group project. So a presentation, how do they work together as a team? They are learning how to wait and taking turns. They do resolve conflicts with each other. They cooperative play. They have those skills. They share common goals. They participate. They have partnerships, alliance, teamwork, and they have share ideas. Collaborative play is a type of play that involves taking turns, sharing, following rules, negotiation, and compromising. We see the collaborative play with the younger students. A child that may not be able to collaborate will disrupt a game, cause chaos, or may need reminders and support on how to share and how to take turns. Contribution is another life skill that children may need. What children bring to the classroom, it is the role play or the act of giving and providing to the group to help produce or achieve something together for the greater good of the team. Children use their talents to contribute to the group. Children are enthusiastic. They can do things on their own. They help each other and work together. They are compassionate. They're optimistic. They recognize persistence. They say things like, I can help, or I know how to do this. They support and value each other, and they're very self-dependent. So I have a picture here of a little girl that already knows how to tie her shoe, and she's helping her friend tie her shoe because she knows that she knows how to do it. So she's contributing to her friends. This includes the belief in one's own gifts and talents, and the desire to use those gifts to better oneself, one's family, or one's community, as well as the world at large. Children that may not contribute to the group are the ones that may say, I can't do it, or I don't want to help. They may act like passive players who seem to let things happen around them. So they're not as engaged in a contribution or collaboration. And the last skill is adaptability, the ability to adjust to new conditions or situations. Children are adaptable when they can figure out how to be successful in different places and with different people. They can easily adjust to changing circumstances. These are children that know that we use inside voices when we're inside. They can scream and run and do things outside in the playground. The big one that I see at school is students down the hallway. A lot of them, they run down the hallway, and as soon as they see an adult, they kind of stop. That tells me that they are learning how to adapt. They know the rules. Children are easygoing. They're flexible to any changes. It could be a change in the program or the environment when a substitute comes in. Adjust to the environment or activity. So they make adjustments based on those changes. And then most of the time they are compliant, adaptable to change, and they're resilient. A teacher might tell a child to use their walking feet in the school hallway, just like I mentioned, but encourage the same child to run around the playground during outside time. Indoor voice and outdoor voices, walking into the library and whispering or having quiet voices, or even at church. A child might have different expectations at home than at school. So that's why it's important for us to know what's expected of them at home. I have children that like to take their shoes off in the classroom because that's okay to do at home. So they need to know the difference. At school, we don't take our shoes off. A child that has not understood or mastered adaptability might have a hard time at school during a specific activity, or they might call a student a name if that's allowed at home. There are certain words that are acceptable, that are not acceptable at school. So it's a child that has a hard time distinguishing the different adaptability. So I have a couple suggestions here that we do in the classroom. If a child has a hard time with regulating their emotions, or they are bored, or they are done with their activities, we do calming cards. Besides the calming corner, we have a card, and the child decides what to do. Sometimes it helps them better if they pick an activity versus me saying go to the quiet corner or go and draw, or it's easier when they get to choose what activity they want to do to help them calm their bodies and regulate their emotions. So I just tell them, like, choose the activity that you prefer to do when you're angry or when you're nervous. And one of the things they can do is they can squeeze the ball, they could stretch, they could close their eyes, they could go to the calming corner, take a deep breath, they can count to 10, or they can hug a stuffed animal. And those are some of the suggestions that we do. Thank you. Here's my reference page. If you're interested in looking up at the book, I highly recommend it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video.